I want to take you back to a moment that gripped two countries, and a little boy caught in the middle. It's late November 1999, right off the Florida coast. A fisherman spots a small inner tube drifting in the waves. Clinging to it is a 6-year-old Cuban boy named Elian. His mother and others trying to reach the US didn't survive the journey. He did. He's brought to Miami. He's tiny, quiet, and suddenly the center of a storm he can't possibly understand. His Miami relatives open their arms and their home. They say, he belongs here, with us, with freedom, with opportunity. But his father, still in Cuba, says, he's my son. Send him home. That's the collision. Family versus family. Exile versus homeland. Personal grief versus politics. Through December and into the new year, the case explodes. Cuban-American neighborhoods rally, waving flags and photos of Elian. In Havana, huge crowds march demanding his return. TV trucks stake out the Miami house. Every whisper becomes breaking news. The legal tug-of-war gets intense. The US government rules the father has the right to speak for his child. The Miami relatives refuse to hand him over. Negotiations drag. Cameras roll. The front lawn becomes a stage for a divided America. Then, pre-dawn, April 22nd, 2000. Federal agents raid the Miami home. It's fast, chaotic, unforgettable. A photographer captures the moment. A terrified little boy in a closet and an armed agent reaching in. That image ricochets around the world in minutes. After the raid, Elian is reunited with his father on US soil. They wait as courts confirm what comes next. By June 2000, the decision is final. The boy goes back to Cuba with his dad. A small hand clasps a larger one, and they fly south. So why am I telling you this in the context of November 2000? Because the shockwaves didn't stop at the airport. In Florida, where politics is already a contact sport, the case hardened lines. Cuban-American voters, fired up and feeling betrayed by the raid, showed up in force. Weeks later, the presidential election comes down to Florida, and we all remember what happened next. Hanging chads, courtrooms, a margin so thin you could read it on a grain of sand. No, Elian didn't decide the election, but the atmosphere around him, trust, anger, identity, was part of the Florida story in November 2000. One boy's rescue at sea turned into a test of who gets to decide a child's future. Family across borders, a local community, or the state. Here's the part that sticks with me. Everyone said they were fighting for him, but he was 6, grieving, shy, with cameras in his face. We projected our stories onto him. Freedom, exile, custody, Cold War ghosts. If there's a lesson, it's this. When a child becomes a symbol, adults have to be twice as careful. To center the child. To listen beyond the noise. To remember there's a kid at the heart of our headlines. Years later, he grows up, in Cuba, away from the spotlight. But for a few months, ending in November 2000, his name was shorthand for a country's argument with itself. A single life, swept into history's current, reminding us that policy is personal, especially when you're 6 and just trying to hold on.